Imagine living in a magical world inhabited by several different races, but where humans are the weakest beings, treated like garbage by all the others. Our story begins in a world created by a goddess and inhabited by 9 different races: dragonids, elves, onis, dwarves, demons, dark elves, centaurs, beast folk, and humans, in that order. Soon we meet the protagonist of our story, a boy named Light, who says goodbye to his family to travel the world and become an adventurer, hoping to improve his family's life once he returns from his journey. But right away, the boy gets lost in the city and is confronted by a humanoid wolf who says that humans should know their place in society. Light eventually arrives at an adventurer's guild and speaks with a receptionist, who asks for his name. Light introduces himself and explains it's his first registration as an adventurer. Right off the bat, the receptionist wants to put the boy in the lowest rank and asks what his gift is. Light replies that his gift is unlimited gacha, which the receptionist doesn't understand at all, asking him to explain better. Light quickly summons a magic compass, and when he presses the button, the object begins spinning on its own. Suddenly, a fork card appears and materializes into a real fork on the table, but to everyone's surprise, it's bent. Trying to fix the awkward moment, Light summons more cards, an apple and a loaf of bread. Yet what comes out is a rotten apple and a moldy loaf. At that point, the receptionist, without hesitation, assigns him to rank F, the lowest possible. Light asks if he can take any jobs, and the receptionist points to a wall behind him with available quests. But she quickly realizes the boy can't read and feels pity for the poor kid. She grabs a paper and tells him he could chop wood, carry dirt, and cut grass, but warns the pay will be very low. Still, Light accepts, even if the jobs are degrading. He works all day under the scorching sun, and at night, he earns just enough to afford one night in a cheap inn. Looking for a place to sleep, Light accidentally bumps into 3 humanoid dogs. One of them says Light dirted his clothes and should pay for cleaning. When the dog sees Light's small money pouch, he doesn't think twice, knocks the boy to the ground and steals his hard-earned coins. Light demands they give his money back, but they just laugh in his face, saying they'll put it to better use buying drinks. Fallen on the ground, Light starts getting insulted by passers-by. One says, "Get out of the way, human," while another tells him to sleep in the trash with the rest of the scum, showing just how badly humans are treated by other races. When everything seems lost, a hand reaches out to help him up, and Light looks up to see a beautiful elf girl. Shocked, he notices a whole group standing behind her. Trying to comfort him, the elf kneels and gives him a warm hug, even as other onlookers criticize the scene. Light, realizing she got dirty just to embrace him, thinks he must be dreaming, but the elf tells him he's wide awake. The group introduces themselves as the Concord of Tribes, a faction formed by members of every race created by the goddess. The beast folk Garu, the elf Sasha, the dragonid Drago, the demon Diablo, the Oni Oboro, the dwarf Nano, the dark elf Sion, and the centaur Santer. The only race missing was a human, and that's where Light would fit in. Sion explains that their group was founded to fight racial discrimination and that they needed someone like Light to help their cause. The leader, Drago, extends his hand and asks if Light wants to join them. Without thinking twice, the boy accepts, feeling like the happiest child in the world, unaware of what fate had in store. Soon we see a cave scene in the middle of a storm, a giant worm-like monster about to devour Light, who's completely defenseless. Thankfully, Drago saves him, asking if he's okay. But another worm lunges, and this time it's Sasha who fires an arrow right through its head. She scolds Light, saying she can't take her eyes off him for a second and tells him to stay close. The elf reveals they're in the most dangerous dungeon, the Abyss, where anything could kill a fragile boy like him in an instant. Light apologizes for being a burden, and Sasha strokes his cheek gently like a mother, only to be teased by her teammates for not resisting the boy's cuteness. Sasha quickly denies it, saying she's just protecting the team's reputation, but the dark elf doesn't buy it. Drago steps in to cheer Light up, saying he loves the tea Light makes for the team, which brings a smile to the boy's face. The leader then orders the group to move on, and Light, ever enthusiastic, follows. After walking for a while, they stop to rest. Light assumes it's tea time and starts preparing it as usual. While he's doing that, Drago suddenly approaches and tells him there's no need to make tea anymore. Confused, Light looks up, and the leader bluntly says he's officially expelled from the group. Light freezes, not understanding, and Drago repeats, "You're fired." At first, Light thinks it's a joke, but Garu says they're literally kicking his ass out. Realizing it's real, Light asks what he did wrong, and Garu replies he's completely useless. The others join in mocking him. Even Sasha, the one who once protected him, calls him so stupid he drives her crazy. Sion says she's not sure if his idiocy is due to lack of brain cells or just a human thing. The dwarf Nano says he's relieved they're finally rid of that nuisance, and others remark that he smells so bad they couldn't breathe near him. Still thinking it's a prank, Light turns to Sasha, who confirms they're serious. Shocked, Light asks why they pretended to like him, and Garu says they've been faking it all along. He then asks why they even wanted him in the group, and Drago answers. It was because of his gift. Light, confused, says his useless gacha couldn't be that special. Drago explains that their superiors once thought Light might be a maestro, but after seeing his poor performance, they realized his power was worthless, so the group was ordered to discard him. Sion comments that their bosses should have fired him earlier, and Sasha adds she's glad she won't have to marry an inferior being, revealing her affection had been an act all along. Light starts piecing things together, asking about maestros and bosses. Drago scolds Garu for talking too much, but the wolf shrugs. The boy won't live to tell their secrets anyway. Drago agrees and gives the order, execute Light. Excited, Garu activates his claws and slashes Light's face, leaving a deep scar on his cheek. Horrified by the blood on his hands and by the betrayal of his supposed friends, Light panics and runs for his life. Sasha shoots an arrow into his knee, knocking him down. Garu laughs cruelly, walking toward him while Sion says the boy's screams are music to her ears. Without mercy, Garu kicks Light in the stomach, sending him rolling on the ground, then continues beating him until Drago tells him not to overdo it. Sasha coldly remarks that Light should die at the hands of a monster, not them, to make their story believable. Understanding the plan, Garu readies to finish him off. Light, crawling in desperation, whispers that he wants to live. Suddenly, a massive purple portal appears around him. Drago shouts at Garu not to let him escape, but it's too late. Light vanishes without a trace. He wakes up elsewhere in the dungeon, realizing he triggered a teleport trap that sent him far from the traitors. But he despairs, knowing he'll soon die alone anyway. Crying, he misses his family and recalls the happy times traveling with the group. All lies. He can't understand what Maestro means or who ordered his death. Rage slowly consumes his broken heart. He vows to kill every single member of the Concord of Tribes with his own hands. His thoughts are interrupted when suddenly two giant, twin-headed stone beasts appear. They're level 1000, monsters of legend. That's when Light realizes he's been teleported to the deepest layer of the abyss. Seeing death approach, he activates his gift one last time, summoning the compass. But this time, a huge blue magic circle appears, something unlike anything before. As the monster lunges at him, the compass draws a golden card, and in a flash of light, a young woman appears, slicing the creature to pieces in an instant. Light stares in awe. The woman, dressed like a maid, turns to him and walks closer. Kneeling before him, she bows gracefully and touches his wounded cheek, instantly healing it with a soft glow. She apologizes, saying she couldn't bear to see such a beautiful face injured. Amazed that his pain is gone, Light stands up fully healed. The young woman asks his name, and he introduces himself. She calls him Master Light and pledges eternal loyalty as his maid, leaving him stunned. When he asks who she is, she requests permission to speak her name, which he grants. The woman smiles and introduces herself as May, the tireless maid. Then she reveals she's level 9999 and came from a super ultra rare card from his unlimited gacha. Light can hardly believe it. His so-called useless gacha had summoned someone this powerful. May humbly says she's just a maid and he can call her by name. When he does so, she beams with happiness. She then asks a favor, to analyze his gacha and understand its true potential. She insists it can't be useless. Light agrees, and she begins her assessment. After examining it thoroughly, May is astonished, saying his abilities were hidden deep within and invisible to anyone below her level. She explains that the gacha can be rolled infinitely, and the rarity of cards depends on the mana density around, the amount of energy in the environment. She lists the rarities: extra, super ultra rare, SSS rare, SS rare, S rare, normal, and error, respectively. May reveals that mana density is highest in the dungeon's depths and lowest on the surface, explaining why Light couldn't summon her before. She praises his courage for surviving the abyss alone and summoning her rare card, but admits he's still weak and would have died without protection. Light bitterly explains he wasn't alone, His group betrayed him. Hearing this, May embraces him and apologizes for not understanding his pain. She vows to destroy those who wronged him, asking permission to hunt them down and bring back their heads as an offering to her master. But Light refuses, saying it was his fault for being weak, and he'll grow stronger to take revenge himself. He asks if his dream is foolish, and May kneels again, declaring his dream is hers too, and that she'll help him fulfill it. She tells him she believes in his potential above all else. Grateful, Light thanks her sincerely. After that, Light activates his unlimited gacha once more, harnessing the Abyss's immense energy to summon another powerful card, and thus begins his journey to build a kingdom of his own, one that will pave the road to vengeance against the cruel, unjust world that betrayed him. 3 years later, 3 years have passed. We see a line of maids standing with their heads bowed while Light, wearing a long cloak and holding a staff, walks confidently down the corridor with May by his side. The boy now radiates an aura of authority never seen before. He praises the maids for their excellent work, and they thank their master respectfully. Soon, some of the maids begin expressing rather personal feelings toward their lord, which makes May visibly uncomfortable. She asks for permission to silence those chatty fairies, but Light simply smiles, acknowledging that they're just love-struck, and that's not really a problem. We cut to a small town where several villagers greet Light warmly, showing that this settlement was founded by him. One villager offers him a plate of food, which Light says he'll try later. Another reports that supplies are running low, to which Light replies that he'll inform the administrator. May comments that she'll handle it quickly so no one suspects a problem in logistics. Light notes that the population has grown tremendously over the past 3 years and that the system needs to be restructured. He then asks what the other members of his quartet are doing. May replies that they're faithfully carrying out their missions. We're then introduced to new members of Light's army, starting with Aoyuki, who is exploring the upper perimeter of the Abyss and creating maps. Light compliments her scouting work, though May warns him about Aoyuki's unstable behavior. She tends to act like a cat. Light, however, finds that amusing. Light next asks about Ellie, the mage, and May says she's been working hard to develop new spells aligned with the grand plan. Light hopes she's not overworking herself, but May assures him that every one of the servants loves serving their master. Finally, Light asks about Nazuna, and May explains she's patrolling the castle grounds as usual. May describes Nazuna as an expert in close combat, though a bit flawed as a person. Light doesn't seem to mind, saying it's nice to have Nazuna around since she makes things more entertaining. As Light and May walk down the corridor, they're suddenly stopped by Jack, a tall, muscular man and one of the warriors Light summoned. May scolds him for speaking to the master so casually, but Light says it's fine. He sees Jack as an older brother, which clearly irritates May. Light then says he'll go train for a bit, and May wishes him good luck. At the training grounds, Light says he won't use gloves today. Jack tells him to bring it on, and the boy dashes forward at full speed, landing a powerful punch straight to Jack's abdomen, hard enough to push back the huge man. Jack laughs nervously, warning that such a hit could have killed anyone without superhuman strength. Light grins, reminding him that he's not wearing gloves today. Jack responds in kind, and the two clash fiercely, exchanging blows in a thrilling sparring match. Meanwhile, Nazuna continues her routine patrol around the palace until a few maids approach her. One teasingly asks if she's just wandering around or actually patrolling. Nazuna, cheerful as always, replies that she's following her master Light's orders and doing her job. The maids flatter her for her dedication, making Nazuna blush and humbly reply that she's just obeying orders. When asked where she'll patrol next, she says she's not sure yet. The maids then slyly suggest she visit a very important and secret place, one forbidden even to them. Naive as ever, Nazuna doesn't catch on and agrees, while the maids exchange mischievous smiles, clearly planning to trick one of Light's commanders. Moments later, Nazuna knocks on a large door, Light's room. May opens it, shocked to see her co-worker there. May demands to know why Nazuna came to Light's chambers, and Nazuna proudly replies that she's on patrol. May calmly says the area is perfectly safe, but Nazuna quickly asks what she's doing there since Light is training with Jack. May insists she's simply cleaning the room, performing her duties as head maid. Nazuna, however, ignores her and steps inside, teasing May for being such a workaholic. Nazuna notices the bed looks like someone just laid on it, and May awkwardly claims it's her unique bed-making technique. Excited, Nazuna asks to learn it, but May says it's a trade secret. Nazuna playfully calls her Light's first incarnation, acknowledging her status as his first summon. Internally, Mei sighs with relief at Nizuna's innocence. Nizuna then remembers her errand and hands Mei a letter, an official notice from the other maids demanding that Mei undergo a medical examination and step down as head maid. Mei remains calm and tells Nizuna not to worry, assuring her she'll deal with the matter personally. She even gives Nizuna a few coins as thanks for delivering the message. Touched, Nizuna says Mei can always count on her help, then happily leaves the castle to buy sweets. Mei exhales deeply, relieved to have gotten rid of her nuisance for the day. At a shop in town, Nizuna picks out milk and dorayaki. Upon exiting, she runs into Aoyuki, who's watching the city from a castle balcony. Nizuna asks if she wasn't supposed to be exploring the abyss. Oyuki responds with cat-like meows, which Nizuna can't understand, unlike Light. When Nizuna asks if there's danger nearby, Aoyuki sighs and switches to normal speech, showing her the map she finished under Mei's orders. No threats detected. Oblivious to Aoyuki's irritation, Nizuna cheerfully pats her back multiple times, saying she should have mentioned that sooner, then skips off to resume her patrol. Inside the throne room, Nizuna shouts to check if the coast is clear. After confirming she's alone, she sighs that she hasn't seen her master today and kneels on his throne, caressing the chair affectionately. Suddenly, she hears a noise, the sound of something breaking. Horrified, she sees she's broken the wing of an angel statue beside the throne. Panicking, Nizuna tries to glue the broken piece back before bolting out of the room. Elsewhere, Light and Jack end their training with one last strike. Jack suggests they take a break and relax in the hot springs, which Light happily agrees to. As they soak, Jack compliments Light's progress in hand-to-hand combat, and Light thanks him for the training. Jack proudly remarks that very few beings in the abyss, or even on the surface, could match Light's strength now. Light, however, stays humble, knowing true threats still remain out there, and that he can't lower his guard until his revenge is complete. Back in Mei's office, she faces her maids sternly, reading aloud the letter demanding her resignation. The maids panic and bow their heads, apologizing. Mei demands an explanation. They claim they only wanted to help her because she seemed overworked. Mei doesn't buy it and asks why they sent Nizuna instead of speaking directly to her. The maids start gossiping again, which prompts Mei to sit down and coldly declare their request denied. As punishment, she assigns them to clean the corridor leading to the throne room by hand. The maids protest, but Mei reminds them that if they wish to be promoted, they must work hard. She adds that she'll be leaving soon on a mission with Light, and expects the palace spotless upon her return. With no choice, the maids bow and obey. Meanwhile, Nizuna gazes longingly at a gauntlet displayed in a shop window, something she can't afford. Ellie, the mage, spots her and asks what she's doing. Nizuna explains, then asks why Ellie isn't out on inspection duty. Ellie says everything's fine and she just decided to rest. She then calls Nizuna an idiot. Offended, Nizuna argues back, saying she knows her multiplication tables, though she hilariously answers that 1 times 2 is equal to 3, proving Ellie's point. Annoyed, Nizuna snaps that people who call others stupid are the real idiots. The two bicker in the middle of the street, drawing the attention of onlookers just trying to work in peace. Nizuna boasts about her day patrolling the palace, while Ellie smugly mentions having tea with Light to discuss progress on his plan, adding she'll reserve a private room next time they dine together. Nizuna grows jealous, claiming it's unfair that she doesn't get the same treatment. Ellie teasingly asks if she's upset about the tea, or something more. Nizuna, missing the implication, compliments Ellie's magic and offers to help her anytime. Amused, Ellie thanks her innocent rival, as Nizuna cheerfully runs off to continue her patrol. Back at the palace, the maids complain about Mei's strict punishment, but admit they can't report her since she's Light's right hand. One confesses she envies Mei for being allowed to clean the master's room. They gossip about how Mei was Light's first summon, and that he didn't summon anyone else for 3 months after her. The girls wonder what might have happened during that time, their jealousy growing. Unable to contain their resentment, they attempt to cast a curse on Mei, but are caught mid-act. Mei appears behind them, asking what kind of slander they're spreading now. Shocked, the maids stammer that they thought Mei was away on a mission. Mei says she merely passed by and overheard their words of devotion. She repeats their insults aloud, demanding an explanation. The maids panic and reaffirm their loyalty, but Mei, unimpressed, repeats their wish for her death. Finally, they confess they're jealous of her bond with Light. May calmly explains that during those 3 months, she only trained and educated Light. Nothing inappropriate happened. She adds that she initially came to lighten their workload but has reconsidered. As new punishment, she orders them to clean the entire throne room. The maids beg for mercy, but May coldly tells them that if they have time to insult her, they have time to clean as well. Later, we see the maids scrubbing the throne room frantically. One wonders if they'll finish before dawn, when suddenly, as she sweeps near a statue, the broken angel wing falls to the floor. The maids freeze in horror. Elsewhere, Mizuna lies in bed after her long day, regretting not seeing her master and wishing for a new mission. She falls asleep murmuring a soft, "Good night, Master Light." The next morning, Light walks down the corridor and overhears a familiar argument through the door. Smiling, he opens it to find Mizuna, Ellie, and Aoyuki fighting over who among them is the biggest idiot. He cheerfully greets them, and Mizuna lights up with joy at seeing her master again. Oyuki purrs and rubs against him like a cat, and Light gently pats her head. The others look jealous, and Ellie boldly invites Light to her room, but he ignores the flirtation, saying it's time to work. Suddenly, a two-headed chimera bursts into the room. Light freezes, haunted by the memory of almost dying to that creature 3 years ago. But before he can act, the 3 women step forward, their auras flaring. Mizuna, now deadly serious, snarls that such a mutt has no right to appear before her master. Ellie declares the creature's entire race should be exterminated, and Aoyuki vows to send it to a punishment worse than purgatory. The 3 unleash their power, each at level 9,999, ready to obliterate the beast. But the chimera bows submissively, trembling like a scolded puppy. Light quickly calms his subordinates, assuring them it's fine, and gently pats the creature's snout, apologizing for the scare. Ellie then asks what Light wanted to discuss. The young master turns to his commanders, announcing that May has sent word. The plan is ready to begin. With a confident grin, Light declares, "The prey has finally taken the bait." The women cheer in excitement. Ellie, though envious that May was the one to set the trap, respects her master's will. Light smiles darkly. "Let's begin," he says. "Our first course of revenge is ready to be served." We then cut to a village on the surface, Acre, home to the beastfolk race. Among them walks none other than Garu, hailed as a hero by the townspeople and flanked by 2 henchmen. And that's where Chapter 2 of this incredible story comes to an end. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see what happens next, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the upcoming recaps of this story and many other epic anime stories coming soon to this channel. See you in the next video.